can't tell you how many times I wrote and deleted and wrote. Oh, it doesn't go anymore. There. I wrote and deleted what I was going to write or say today. So I have it there. I don't know if I'm going to get to it. I will tell you a true story about last Friday, the tweet up. I showed up by myself, and I walked in and I walked out because I was terrified. I am not a very outgoing person. A lot of people tell me I am, my friends tell me I am, and when I feel comfortable with people, I really am. But I was so terrified to come and get to know people, and after being here all day today and watching all of you, I regret that. I wish that I had gone in and talked to everybody because you all have wonderful stories, and everybody here is so kind, and everybody that I've met today is really wonderful. I used to just be a regular girl, you know, wondering where my life was going to take me next, and then I thought it would be a good idea to have a baby. So I planned my pregnancy, and I wasn't married, but we thought it would be a good idea, and it only took one try, so we didn't really get to think about that again. And while I was pregnant, I kind of just know things sometimes. I feel like I just internally know things, and I knew that there was going to be something very different about my child. And I used to, you know, talk to my belly when I was pregnant and say, you know, I don't know what it is that you're going to do, but lives are going to change when you're born, and not just mine, but, you know, something different is going to happen, and I don't know why. And then she was born. My daughter Kennedy was born on February 13th, 2003, and she was born full term, 2 pounds, 10 ounces. She had vibrant black eyes, and when she looked at you, she looked into your soul. The doctors and the team that worked with her and worked with us told us that she was going to die. So we sat by her side for 3 weeks, waiting for her to die. And she got stronger, and she would look at you, and she just had this life in her that when you were with her, you couldn't imagine that she was going to die, but then you would look at the faces of the doctors and the nurses that worked with her, and they were so somber and so sad for us because they knew that we were going to bury our child. We had funeral arrangements made. We had a DNR. And finally, at 3 weeks, 2 pounds, 10 ounces, we said, we're done, we're going home. Wow, that was quite the ordeal. We had about 25 people in a room with us to prepare us to go home with our child and what was going to happen when she passed and whatnot. And we left the hospital and we brought her home, and we decided to just live normal. And we knew that we only had a certain amount of time with her, so we figured we were going to enjoy every day that we had. And as time went on, she got stronger, and she did everything that normal babies do, and she laughed and giggled, and she didn't sleep much, but that was okay. She ate food, and she was perfect. I didn't know anything different. I didn't have any family close to me, and I didn't have any friends around me that had little babies, so I knew nothing different. So as time went on, you know, we got a lot of looks and stares as we went out, and we tried to ignore it as much as possible. And then the media got a hold of this 7-pound, 1-year-old little girl. So there was a newspaper article done by actually a very good friend of mine now. And they did this article, and there was a beautiful outpouring of kindness from the community around. It was actually done in the Record. And these people raised money for us to go to a medical conference in San Francisco to help us discover exactly what it was that our child had. So at 1.5 years old, Kennedy was formally diagnosed with primordial dwarfism. It's a very rare type of dwarfism. At this point, because of social media, it is now known that there are about 200 people in the world that have this condition. She is perfectly formed, but miniature. She's 17 pounds now, 8 years old. She has some developmental delays. She acts around about a 4-year-old, but her vibrancy and life is just so amazing. And after the newspaper article came about, we got all kinds of requests and things from people who wanted us to be on their television shows and newspaper articles. And our intent going into agreeing to some of these things was that we would help spread the word and share information about primordial dwarfism so that another family that sat at home for a year and a half, maybe they wouldn't have to sit at home for a year and a half, not knowing if their child was going to live or die, and not knowing why their child was born so small, because there was nothing wrong with her other than the fact that she was small. And so once all of this media stuff started to happen, we agreed to do a documentary on TLC, and since then there's been 3. And that brought out 90% good from social media, Facebook and emails and bloggers. And people were very, very kind to us. People would send us gifts and cards and letters and pictures of their own children and dogs, and people sent us letters about how they named their daughters after Kennedy. And there was a lot of negativity also. People believed that I was exploiting my child. I would never exploit my child. I took that to heart. There was a lot of creepers. There was a lot of times I actually was concerned about my safety. I too had somebody impersonate me and write things saying that they were me on blogs and such. And at one point I found a blog. I was forwarded a blog. Why somebody would forward this to me, I'm not sure, but I was forwarded a blog that depicted the brutal torture of Kennedy, and it talked about her cries for her mommy, and it was the most awful thing I've ever experienced in my life. And I thought, this is a bad, bad world. This internet is a bad world. And I shut down. I stopped reading emails. I stopped responding to emails. I stopped connecting with people, and I shut down. By this time, I was a single mom of 2 kids, and Kennedy's my oldest. And I just shut down to be completely alone, and I was afraid of what was out there because I let the 10% negative eat me up, and I let it just hold on to me, and I was so fearful of trying to help other people because I felt like it wasn't working. And then I got a little bit into Facebook, and I would always know when a documentary would air because I would get random friend requests. And along with these friend requests would come messages about how I inspired somebody to embrace her child's disability when she had been so angry for so long. I got messages about how Kennedy was inspiring people to get up off the couch. They thought that their lives were so terrible, and then they looked at Kennedy and they thought that she just lived with such vibrancy and such life that why would they be sitting on their couch sulking about what was going on in their life. And then I started to embrace it. I started to embrace these people who seemed to genuinely care about us. And I started to make friends with all of these people that I really didn't know. And it gave me a sense, being single and sitting at home, and your kids are in bed and you can't go out and play anymore. And it gave me a place to go at night. It gave me a place to go when when I was sitting in a hospital room waiting for results and crying and nervous and so upset, and so many people would come back to me and through Facebook, and I'm just getting into Twitter now, but would come to me through Facebook and just tell me how wonderful they thought I was and how strong I was and how they were thinking about me and how they were sending prayers to Kennedy and how she was strong and she was an angel and she was going to come through this. And that was really, really, it uplifted me so much, and it gave me so much strength and courage. And I finally embraced that I have become a role model for parents out there with kids with special needs. I never could accept that before. I never thought that I was anything special. I never thought that my take on it was anything special. I just thought this is what it is, and she's my daughter. What else am I supposed to do? Of course I'm supposed to love her and support her and be with her. And I really feel that a lot of my confidence and a lot of my strength and my ability to be a good mom and to be a strong mom and advocate for primordial dwarfism and for special needs and for my children comes from all of these people that I've never, ever, ever met. So many people I would love to meet. And at one point in New York, I was able to meet some of these people who just have given me so much strength. And that was really, really important to me and really inspirational to me. So every day, you know, I really respond well to, I just love to get messages from people I don't know. So thank you all, and I just really appreciate the kindness that you don't see too often.